Wait, that's Matt's channel. Never mind. This is 2A Taco Tuesday with E Honda and friends, where we talk about 2A taco stuff because it's Tuesday, and I am here with my friends. Actually, we were just talking to Saberwolf before the chat, and I know I was talking about it yesterday on Matt's chat, going down to the Capitol today to talk about the Colorado assault weapons ban that's being proposed and tried to move forward, probably going to be moved forward to the next phase as of today, but I wasn't able to go today. I had other shit that I had to do. But Mr. Saberwolf here was there, so we're going to hear a little report about the status quo in Colorado, as well as I've got a couple of things that I was impressed with. I thought we would watch the new press secretary at work and give comments about the things that she's talking about as she talks about them, as well as JD Vance, man. JD Vance did an interview, and I was just so impressed with it that I want to watch that in its entirety too. And I figured that would be the show today. We'll just watch these two little videos and give some comment about it, and we'll talk about what. We'll start off by talking to Saberwolf about what happened today. But yeah, man, 2A Taco Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a good day. What's up, Ohio Patriot? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing a lot better now than I was about a week ago. I finally got a pretty much date of when I'm going to be moving back to a new place, so that'll be fun.
Awesomeness. Mr. Lawfully Armed, how do you do, sir?
Where the white women at?
Isn't that what who usually says that? Xanatos always says that shit. Where the white women at?
I'm Groot. I'm on
and of course, Saberwolf. And dude, you are having a little bit of feedback on your mic. It's no big deal. Just like when you're talking, it's fine. Just when you're not talking, or like when you don't want to say anything, if you could mute yourself, because there is a bit. I don't know what it's from, but it's there.
I apologize for that.
Don't worry, you're fine.
When I'm not talking, so
yeah, it's all good. But Jesus, I figured we'd start with you with your experience of today. You got to actually speak at the event.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, sorry, it was a lot of thoughts. I just got back. I got there at 11 this morning. I took the day off from work because this is super important to me, and I think to you and everyone else listening probably. And I went to the rally there. Got to talk to a lot of state senators that showed up. They weren't even. It was just kind of more of an impromptu rally. A lot of the local 2A activists, like Leslie Hollywood. If you don't follow her, you should. Rally for Her Rights on Facebook group, or We the Second with her and Ava Flanell on her YouTube channel. They had stuff. They're the ones who kind of organized this, and they've been really on top of it. So I just have to give that initial shout out. But yeah, it went. Showed up. I understand it's like the middle of a week, in the middle of a work day. The weather, it was nice, but it's still kind of snowy, slushy out. So there's only like probably about a few hundred people, which is awesome though, if you really think about it. Just that showed up to the rally. A lot of people came in later to testify because it was scheduled at 2:00. So that's when I saw a lot more people lining up and everything. I got a chance to talk. They asked me questions, which is usually kind of rare. It's not normal, I guess. Like what I witnessed on the committee panel, they only did it with people they wanted to elaborate further with. Yeah, it was an interesting experience compared to last year. I don't know if you had I don't know how to really compare it, other than the fact that I actually got to talk this time. It was a little bit more organized. Tom Sullivan, I don't remember the opening remarks and stuff because I got there kind of late last year, but it opened up with the two bill sponsors, Tom Sullivan and Gonzalez. I forget her first name. And they get 20 minutes to kind of say why this is a great thing. All it's doing is closing the magazine ban, blah blah blah, by banning the guns that use magazines. Very novel way of saying magazine ban. And then he drags up the story about how his kid was killed with 72 rounds,
Dude, like the way this bill is written is just for the people out there is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Basically, they're saying that any gun that doesn't take a pinned and welded attached 15 round or fewer magazine and is semi-automatic is illegal in Colorado if this thing passes. So basically that's every gun that exists, because can you think of a gun that takes a detachable or a non-detachable pinned and welded 15 round or fewer magazine? Because I can't. Yeah, you have to get like a 1908 Steyr handgun or something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, there's not very many fucking examples that would fit the legal definitions that Colorado is implemented. So, yeah, it's basically a ban on everything.
Yeah, it's like even the Bloomberg lawyers that drafted this up, who represented every town, they gotta speak first for the pro part of this. Like, as they bring up 4 people at a time as panelists, pro and against. So at least that's how it should work. They did like several pro in a row. They'll do a couple of like against in a row, that type of thing.
Dude, okay, and real quick, that was my idea from last year, was because there was like 1,500 people who signed up to speak out against the bill, and there was like 12 people who were there to speak out for the bill. I don't know if that's the actual number, but it was like ridiculously few versus like impossibly many. So my idea was, for the next time I show up, to put my name down as speaking in favor of the bill, and then just being like, I love how you guys are expanding the meaning of the Second Amendment to be tyrants against the people. I really love tyrants, and like I admire your tyrant actions that you know what I mean? Just do some shit like that.
Oh man, yeah. No,
I'd have to write it down. Like,
actually,
I would really have to
there
take
was a
some
guy
time.
Yeah, no, there was a guy who actually did that. He did well. His was a Zoom one, but yeah, they kind of because of Zoom, they just booted him off the screen. But yeah, that was actually kind of funny.
They booted him. I bet they'd be like, Mr. Honda, I thought you were.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, he was just like, I was a Marine, and I don't think he like. I think it's a good idea that our authoritarians and our betters would possess the arms, able to subjugate the people at will, to impose the laws and taxation that is deserved to this righteous government. Like he said, that's how he started out, as like a proponent of it, and then and then they kicked him off Zoom.
Oh, that's too bad. He took
my
idea.
So, but no, great minds think alike, because they had to have a little recess because of that, because of disorder. So, but yeah, no, it was a lot of people were there on our side, which is I think we outnumbered the commie mommies for once. I thought that was actually really, really cool to see.
Dude, every time I've ever seen, there's been this would have been the third time if I was there. So I'm tacitly saying that I was there because you were there, and I'm speaking as one of us.
You're an extension of me.
The other 2 times and this time, all 3 times, the commie mommies have been absolutely fucking outnumbered 100%, 10-1.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess like for me, my I guess you say my recollection is more recent stuff, like the Arvada gun ban, the Westminster gun ban that I went to this last summer to speak out against at those city halls, and they outnumbered us there basically significantly. Of course, those are suburbs, and granted, a lot of them are in the education field. So, and those are held at night. So I don't know. So that's why my skewed view.
What happened to the ability to like walk into your kid's school and be like, I don't like the cut of that teacher's jib. I don't think that person looks professional enough. They should not be teaching my child anything. Also, why don't we have complete access to everything the kids are learning in school? Like, I should have a complete curriculum itinerary list of everything that the teacher wants to teach to the kids, and all of the materials that they plan on using to inform the children of whatever it is that they're. But that's never there, and that wasn't really it wasn't until COVID. Let's be honest. when all of the kids were learning from home remotely, that they got a glimpse as to what the teachers were teaching these kids, and a lot of parents were appalled. A lot of parents took their kids out of schools from then on. And we're getting to the point now, honestly, AI is taking so many jobs from so many people. Don't you think, and a lot of people might be against this and they would have their reasons, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, but don't you think that an AI teacher that can keep your child in the zone of proximal development continuously on all levels in every direction, remember exactly where they left off and help the kid move forward, and like find out what their strengths or weaknesses are, and find out how they learn, and fucking teach them the things that they don't know in order to like make them a better student and a better person? Yeah, I think that we have the technology to be 10 times better teachers using AI than teachers ever were. Like your best teacher you ever had in any subject, except for it's like that for every subject all the way through. You know what I mean? Like that's what it could be like. That's what it could be like. Or it could be Orwellian, like 1984 fucking, you know, just training us to sit in the pod and eat the bugs and all that shit. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, there was a super chat before we even started. I missed. From Dino Spumoni. Hey, it's a Spumoni. Says, hey, yo, Honda, when are you moving to Michigan also? Like 2 years. Maybe.
Who's moving to Michigan?
The Upper Peninsula is awesome. That's kind of a life goal.
Yeah.
Kayak. Oh yeah. Snowmobile. Oh yeah.
Oh, man, where's the video that I had pulled up? Damn
Never
it.
Enough Ammo is Ohio.
Oh.
Damn you, internet. Okay. There's that one. That one's longer. Let's start with the shorter one. Have you guys seen the JD Vance Face the Nation interview?
A couple clips.
Yeah, I saw a couple of clips too, and I decided to watch the whole thing, and I was impresionado. Sí. I don't know if that's even a word in Spanish.
Low as 39.
So, have you ever seen this bitch before? She's insufferable. She is snooty, snidely, backhanded, fucking like devil-witted. She is a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like honestly, she's the epitome of what you would not want to be interviewed by if you were like trying to tell the truth. And she works on behalf of the deep state, on behalf of the status quo, on behalf of the, you know, the powers that should not be. And you can tell that in the way that she asks her questions, in the way that she frames the questions, in the way that she asks her follow-up questions, and the faces that she makes while she asks these questions. And I'll pause it a couple of times during this interview just to show you what I'm talking about here. But she's the epitome of the snake in the grass that you would want to keep away from society, because this is the destruction of society. This is like, we live in a civilized society, and we're supposed to get along with each other and have certain rules and etiquette about the way that we treat people and the way that we treat the truth and the way that we don't gaslight people. But this bitch has an agenda, and she doesn't care whose toes she steps on. And it's pretty fucking apparent watching this. So, yeah, let's get right into it.
It was a tie. Bipartisan opposition, smallest margin since the job was created. You had to break that tie. If the nominee can't unite your party, how's he going to lead 3 million people?
See, like right off the bat. Oh, there you were talking about Hegseth or whatever the hell his name is, the guy who's going to be the head of the military. And she's like, "You were the tie-breaking vote. How are we going to blah, 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 blah?" Like, let's just start over again. I got to go back 5 seconds.
That tie. If the nominee can't unite your party, how's he going to lead 3 million people?
Well, look, I think Pete is a disruptor, and a lot of people don't like that disruption. But Margaret, that disruption is incredibly necessary. If you think about all of those bipartisan massive votes, we have to ask ourselves, what did they get us? They got us a country where we fought many wars over the last 40 years, but haven't won a war about as long as I've been alive. They've got us.
And then the other side of the coin on this interview is how polished, how patient, how poignant, how direct and how impressed I am with fucking JD Vance. Like, oh my God, dude. This guy, Trump saw something in him, and now I'm seeing what Trump saw. So that's just my observation, but go on.
That's the military with a
Oh, and if you have anything to say, just start saying something and I'll pause it.
Well, now you know I've listened to much smoke up his ass for the last 2 years.
I said the man got potential.
I mean, I hope he continues to be the golden boy that he's been. But yeah,
crisis, a procurement price crisis that's totally dysfunctional, where we buy airplanes for billions and billions of dollars, terrible cost overruns. The delivery dates are always delayed. So we need a big change. Now, admittedly, there are people who don't like that big change, but it is necessary, and it's explicitly what Donald J. Trump ran on. And I think part of the reason why the American people elected him their 47th president.
So the main objective is changing all of that, that it's going to be.
Is that what he said? Is that what he said? Because that's where she went with it. Oh, so you said all that. So your main objective is just changing everything? Like, look at the face that she makes.
The main objective is changing all of that, that it's going to be Pete Hegseth alone?
I'd say the main problem the main thing that we want Pete Hegseth to do is to fix the problems at the Department of Defense. And unfortunately, there are many. We've gotten into way too many wars that we don't have a plan for winning. We've gotten into way too many misadventures that we shouldn't have got into in the very first place. And our procurement process, Margaret, is incredibly broken. We're in an era.
Decisions.
Well, of course, they're policy decisions, but they're also legit.
You see that face again, dude? Look at that face, dude.
Is incredibly broken. We're in an era.
Decisions.
Well, of course, they're policy decisions, but they're also logistical and implementing.
I mean, if that bitch was in front of me, like interrupting me and making that face and blinking 15 times and looking that smug, the interview would be over. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to keep calm after that. I would just be like, all right, like, I see how this is and I'm leaving before it gets fucking escalated.
Yeah, just get up and walk out.
Yeah.
I was
but
surprised
JD
he didn't
Vance,
grab her tablet and throw it like a frisbee across the room.
JD Vance is like fucking Rocky Balboa, just taking fucking hits on the chin and coming back for more, bro. He's amazing in this.
Well, remember, it's all about
where we are.
I was gonna say it's all about composure, Rhonda. Remember, you playing that type of game, they expect you to fuck up all different types of ways, especially how the way you gotta have a certain type of personality and how the way you act and stuff.
Yep.
With the rise of artificial intelligence, with the rise of drone technology and drone warfare, we have to really top to bottom change the way that we fund the procurement of weapons, the way that we arm our troops. This is a major period of disruption, and we think Pete Hegseth is the guy to lead the job. Now, there's another element to this, Margaret, too, which is we believe that military morale, at least until the election of President Trump, was historically low. You had the Army missing recruitment goals by tens of thousands of soldiers, and already recruitment is starting to pick up because Pete Hegseth is fundamentally a warfighter's leader at the Department of Defense. He is a guy who sees not through the perspective of the generals or the bureaucrats. He looks at things through the perspective of the men and women that we send off to fight in our wars.
Both the Wall Street Journal and the National Review, conservative publications, as you know, have been critical of Tulsi Gabbard. The Review called her an atrocious nominee who deserves to be defeated. They compared her defense of Edward Snowden, the fugitive who stole U.S. secrets, to an attorney general who thinks the mob gets a bad rap. Her refusal to accept U.S. intelligence findings that Assad gassed his own people, they said, was like a nominee for OMB director not being able to count. Does any of this give you pause putting her in charge of the U.S. intelligence community? Yes or no?
No, Margaret, look, these are
yes or no
publications that attacked Donald J. Trump obsessively, but those publications don't determine who the president is. The
and
American people
supported
do.
Him.
And Donald J. Trump is the person who determines who his cabinet is, not these publications that I think, frankly, have lost relevance.
The Senate will
Tulsi
ultimately
Gabbard's
decide.
Well, the Senate will provide advice and consent as is its constitutional obligation, but I feel confident that Tulsi Gabbard will ultimately get through. Two things that are important to know about Tulsi. First of all, she is a career military servant who's had a classification at the highest levels for nearly 2 decades. She has impeccable character, impeccable record of service. And she also is a person who I think is going to bring some trust back to the intelligence services. The bureaucrats at our intelligence services have gotten completely out of control. They've been part of the weaponization of our political system, the weaponization of our justice system. We need to have good intelligence services who keep us safe, but part of that is restoring trust in those services, and we think Tulsi is the right person to do it. That's
She
why the
doesn't trust
president.
Listen to this next part. This is great. But yeah, again, look at her face and the way that she's presenting herself and the way that she asks and frames her questions. That is obviously a confrontational hit piece type fucking. This is not an interview. Like, she is a hitman hired by the media to come in and assassinate fucking whoever she gets in her chair. And at this point, it's JD Vance. And what she's finding is that JD Vance is a master anti-assassin. It's pretty fucking good. I don't know. What do you guys have to say? Anything?
Yeah, no, I actually love it how he's holding his composure, but also like pushing back on her and like just refuting everything she's like. He's remembering every bullet point she's throwing at him, which is actually really difficult to do in an interview. So that alone,
it's really, really
Hell
difficult,
yeah.
especially when someone's like doing things that make you upset. Because like, I don't know about you guys, when I get angry, the brain don't work so well, you know? And like, that's just a part of being human, is like emotions interrupt logical thought. And if you are emotional, logical thought sometimes goes out the fucking window. So they have these people who are like specifically good at evoking an emotion from the person in front of them and then recording them while their brain's not working right. You know, that's what they do. And they could
and
very
selectively
easily
edit.
do the
I
exact opposite, where they like, you know, try to get the truth out of somebody by buddying up to them and you know, advocating for them and trying to really understand. But, you know, that's not what they do.
Yeah, I think that he is. He's probably a couple IQ levels higher than she is, and she's used to getting the emotional response, like you said. But he knows that, so he's taking that out of his response and just analyzing her question and turning it back on herself. And she doesn't like that kind of interview. So I think he's destroying her. Good, 10 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure it's been proven that JD has a genius little intellect, and the only reason he didn't get ahead in life initially is because of being a poor kid, and that's why he had to go join the military for the GI Bill to get to Harvard, to actually get the degrees that he became a known person. Now is what it is.
Which is a good thing. I like that.
Daniel dropped
also
in
a combat
$2 and
veteran.
said, from now on, we refer to JD Vance as 48. That's great. And Trump is 92, really, because he was 45 and 47. So
Those
No,
intelligence
I
services.
really do have
She
hope for him.
recognizes
just
that
gonna-
bureaucrats have gotten.
God, look at that face. Sorry, what would you say? I'm going to back it up.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. I just wanted to say though, I really just respond to him as 48. I really do hope that he continues to do interviews like this and maybe starts doing podcasts consistently to keep his name out there while still working as vice president, being really active vice president. I think that's going to propel him forward. So that's all I
Okay,
was
look at
gonna
this
say.
bitch's face when she finishes
Yeah.
this snidely fucking question. Watch this shit.
person to do it. That's
She
why
doesn't
the
trust
president.
those intelligence services.
She recognizes the bureaucrats have
Did
gotten.
you see that?
Yeah.
It looked like the Grinch after he stole the fucking presents from underneath the tree. Like, look at this face.
Right person to do it. That's
She
why the
doesn't trust
president.
those intelligence services.
She recognizes the bureaucrats have gotten out of control, and we need somebody there who's going to rein them in and return those services to their core mission of identifying information that's going to keep us safe.
You campaigned on lowering prices for consumers. We've seen all of these executive orders. Which one lowers prices?
We have done a lot, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already jobs to start coming back into our country, which is a core part of lowering prices. More capital investment, more job creation in our economy is one of the things that's going to drive down prices for all consumers, but also raise wages so that people can afford to buy the things that they need. If you look at our
grocery prices
slate
aren't gonna come
of executive orders, no, Margaret, prices are going to come down, but it's going to take a little bit of time, right? The president has been president for all of 5 days. I think that in those 5 days, he's accomplished more than Joe Biden did in 4 years. It's been an incredible breakneck pace.
Dude, how is that even possible that Trump has done this much in his first week, when it seemed like a month of the Biden administration was like an hour of the Trump administration, you know?
They just like that status quo. Well, they just, keeping stuff how the way they want it.
He's a real man, and he's doing the job he got elected for. Simple as that.
I mean, it just shows me how much the government slow rolls everybody on everything all the time, and they just sit there and Yeah, you're right. They're just collecting their paychecks because the status quo gets them fucking richer and richer because there's insider trading. And, you know, if they can make these omnibus bills big enough, they can all get rich together, you know?
I mean, I'll say this because this is a little bit something to deal with me. Because I've worked dealing with a lot of these government people. They do work stuff on the slow roll, even in the state level. Like recently, we just had a person pretty much did suicide on our building, jumped over. And since that happened just recently, was it like last Wednesday? Oh, they finally fixed a certain problem that we've been trying to ask them to fix, and now they finally did it just because of that incident.
From the amount of time I've been following politics, one thing I realize is it depends state level wise. If they really want to get something done, they will fast track the shit out of that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be done like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I mean, it was like 20 days. Like now, like for example, the SB3 went to committee. That's insane. Like we barely had any time to. It went from like the 8th it was announced to now it's already in committee. It's insane. Like when they want something, they will fast track it. Absolutely.
Well, and I mean, think of it this way, Honda, because you know we got a big giant homeless problem here in LA. Yeah, they might try to fast track it fast because I didn't know we have the World Cup coming out here, and you know, you already know the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to clean up part of the city for the Olympics for sure. Like, who cares about the World Cup? But you know, all the third world countries already have that problem everywhere they're from anyway. It'll be like going back home. But yeah, the Olympics is a big deal, and you know, it's usually a big investment. And didn't they talk about certain areas that got burnt down being areas that they were planning on using for the Olympics anyway? Something like that. I forget.
That one I wouldn't know for certain ones, but I already know certain stadiums are going to be used, but those were nowhere near the fires.
It's kind of just like the Lahana thing when they're like, hey, we're going to make a smart city. Oops, where we were like, wouldn't you know it? The exact spot where we were going to build this smart city just happened to burn down. Looks like we can buy up the land for pennies on a dollar now.
I mean, what a wonderful way to
I was
motivate
making the
people
face
to
that
sell.
bitch makes when I said that, by the way.
Dude, her face though, seriously, when she does that yikes smile, whatever the hell that's supposed
God,
to
dude,
be.
it's like the Grinch.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Of activity. We're going to work with Congress. We're, of course, going to have more executive orders, and we're going to try the way that your lower prices is that you encourage more capital investment into our country. And you ask specifically what executive order is going to help lower prices. All of the stuff that we've done on energy to explore more energy reserves, to develop more energy resources in the United States of America. One of the main drivers of increased prices under the Biden administration is that we had a massive increase in energy prices.
That's true.
Donald Trump has already taken multiple executive actions that are going to lower energy prices. And I do believe that means consumers are going to see lower prices at the pump and at the grocery store, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
And while we've done a whole lot, we can't undo all of the damage of Joe Biden's presidency
Well, there are a
in
lot of
4
things
days.
that contributed to higher energy prices, and there was record oil and gas production.
Yes, Joe Biden did
But the price of
many
eggs,
terrible things
things that
to
people
lead to an
see-
increase in prices. I agree, Margaret.
Yep. See, he caught that. I caught that too when she said it when I saw it the first time. Like, oh, there were many things that Joe Biden did. I know is what I wanted to say in my head. And he did it. It was just a little bit late. He could have done it a little bit earlier and it would have been better, but he still caught it. So good job.
No, but all the things you experience at the grocery store are what people touch and feel. That's what you were talking about, bacon on the campaign trail.
Of course. of course.
Those things, when do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes
I
on
do have
truck.
something to say on that. So yesterday, Colorado, Senator Ryan Gonzalez asked to repeal the cage-free mandate on eggs here in Colorado because of the egg prices.
Yeah.
Every single Democrat voted it down, just to keep it status quo. That now we have to have cage-free eggs. So we're paying $9 a dozen for eggs when they could have actually dropped down significantly. Yeah.
Here's the funny part. I'm curious to see if people go into certain facilities, are they actually cage-free? Because other than that, that's just like in name only. Like they're not actually doing that.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
No, I'm just saying, No, I was talking about when you said, they want to keep the status quo with the cage-free eggs. I'm curious to see if going to those actual facilities, if they actually are cage-free.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be certified, so they have to have an inspector come in and certify that they are what they say they are. Otherwise, they couldn't put it on the label. So yeah, I mean, to some extent, there might be some cutting around the edges or whatever you want to call it, some fucking cost savings or some fucking corner cutting or whatever. But yeah, they're cage free. They have to be. That's the law now. And yeah, I go to Costco. Costco hasn't had fucking eggs for like since this fucking bill went into law, right? And this last time they finally had fucking cartons of eggs. I bought like fucking 2 of them. Like, motherfuckers.
I picked the wrong year to go carnivore. That's pretty much the lesson I learned.
The price of beef is ridiculous, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right, look at this bitch's face again. I can't get over it. She might as well be like wearing a mask just to like taunt you.
Campaign trail.
Of course. of course.
Those things, when do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how
like
does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes on trucks that are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
Well, the flurry of executive orders, most of them weren't about the economy. Many of them
were, though, Margaret. We had, I think we've taken
promise
over
of tariffs by February 1st.
We've taken over 200 executive actions, some executive orders, other executive actions. Again, this is in less than a week, and a lot of them were focused on the economy, bringing investment into our country and lowering energy prices. We've also focused on safety, restoring public safety, ending weaponization of the Department of Justice. We've done a lot. And I think the president is to be commended for actually...
That's something the Democrats don't care about, is it? Weaponization at the Department of Justice under the under Biden was like status quo. Yep, that's the way the government works. And now that Trump is in office, anybody who is a Democrat who got like they were talking about and we'll watch this in a little bit, but like the prosecutors who investigated Trump and worked with fucking what's his name to go after Trump, Jack Smith got fired, and they were like, oh well, you fired the guys who were trying to use the power of the government to put a fucking dick in your ass, and you're surprised about that, fucking interviewer? It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, again, I think tonight is showcasing exactly how much the mainstream media does not have your interest at heart. They don't care that there's a mandate. They don't care that this is what the American people voted for. They don't care that, that's the popular fucking point of view right now by the majority of Americans, that the things that Trump is doing is good, that the enforcement of the border is good, that the getting out of the way of American people trying to fucking make money and pay less taxes and have like cheaper energy and, all the things is good. No, because like they're the corporate and therefore the government who is not for you, not the deep state government, not the people who've been there for their entire fucking career, not the Bernie Sanders of the world or the fucking Nancy Pelosi's who've been there for fucking since Kennedy. Did you see the picture of Nancy Pelosi shaking John F. Kennedy's hand?
Oh yeah, she used to be
while
cute back
she's in office. Yeah, she's that fucking old, dude. All of these people are fucking antiquated dinosaurs who've been sucking the fucking teat of the government who we have to feed. We're the hay that the fucking government eats, right? The taxes that they fucking get from our hard work, and they just sit there and fucking get rich as shit off of it. And these media people support the whole thing by upholding that point of view and making things right to talk about. And oh my, I can't even talk anymore.
Coming in and doing something with this incredible mandate the American people gave him. He's not sitting in the Oval Office doing nothing. He's doing the American people's business, and I think they're going to see a lot of good effects from it.
Well, a lot of these announcements have yet to take effect.
Sure.
The president did say he wants to do something with an executive order in relation to federal emergency response. He said he may reform or eliminate FEMA. Instead of sending emergency responders, he may start to send a percentage of money to states to to take care of themselves. But, FEMA has specialized expertise that some of these states just don't have.
Oh,
And
Margaret,
in their arsenal. And
I wish
how
that they...
will states who are lower income states, the Mississippis, the Kentuckys, the Alabamas, be able to do this for themselves without federal help?
Well, the president, to be clear, is not saying we're going to leave anybody behind. He's saying that in the way that we administer these resources, some of which is coming from the federal level, some of which is coming from the state level, we've got to get the bureaucrats out of the way and get the aid to the people who need it most.
But these
Let's
are the
be
first
honest,
responders.
Margaret, you talk about the expertise from FEMA. FEMA in North Carolina, in California, in Florida with some of the hurricanes has often been a disaster. And it's not because we don't have good people at FEMA. It's because bureaucratic red tape and garbage prevents the rapid deployment of resources to the people who need it most.
But the states are now going to have to do this themselves?
The president is trying to encourage us to reform the way that we deliver emergency
Dude, it's like she was trained on how to be like this. I swear to God.
response in a way that gets...
I just had a quick question. This is for Ohio mostly. Okay, so based off of what happened with the train, the chemical incident that happened in Ohio, so wasn't it local environmental scientists that were saying, hey, we need to do a case study on this? And I remember JD Vance talking about it, I think on Joe Rogan, and how FEMA got in the way. Like, do you have any information on that? It's germane to what he's talking about.
Not really. The only thing that's been happening recently with it is they're trying to, the people that are at Norfolk Southern that were the train company are now trying to get the people of East Palestine to basically accept a $22 million lawsuit, which is absolute bullshit. That company should be out of business at this point for what they did there. And honestly, both the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, and the current governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, should both be in jail for that shit, because there was no reason to blow that train up after the fact. It was proven that the gas was just going to leak out naturally. It would have never been an explosion that happened there. And those dumbasses literally blew it up and caused a giant ash cloud across this entire country up into Canada.
Damn, man. Damn. That's all I gotta say.
It's resources.
So
to
don't
people
take
who
him
need it.
literally.
No,
is what you're saying.
We should take the president at his word that FEMA needs desperate reform, because it does. Margaret, when I went to North Carolina as VP-elect, but before we were sworn in, people would talk about how FEMA would get resources, food, medicine, water to a warehouse, but then would have no plan to get it from the warehouse to the people in the mountains who were literally starving and thirsting to death.
Mm-hmm.
We can do so much better, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we will.
But they work with the state and local officials.
They often don't work well enough. And again, that's not because of...
Dude, he's so good.
Local officials?
The FEMA management officials don't work well enough with state and local officials to get resources to the people who need it. We should expect, and this is, I think, one of the fundamental premises of President Trump's leadership, the American people should expect more of their government. When there's a terrible disaster, they should expect food, medicine, and water to get to the people who need it. When there's a terrible fire in California, the fire hydrants ought to actually turn on. I am sick of the American people having such low expectations for their government. They should demand more of us, because it's the greatest country in the world, and that's what Donald Trump's leadership promises to bring back.
So still count on the federal government, but watch that space. Let me ask you about another area that you campaigned on quite a lot, and there was a flurry of activity on, and that has to do with immigration.
Sure.
The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops this week condemned some of the executive orders signed by President Trump, specifically those allowing immigration and customs enforcement to enter churches and to enter schools. Do you personally support the idea of conducting a raid or enforcement action in a church service, at a school?
Well, let me
watch how he handles this. Dude, this shows you how good JD Vance is, because that's a tough question. That is a tough fucking question.
Let me address this. Of course, if you have a person who is convicted of a violent crime, whether they're an illegal immigrant or a non-illegal immigrant, you have to go and get that person to protect the public safety. That's not unique to immigration. But let me just address this particular issue, Margaret, because as a practicing Catholic, I was actually heartbroken by that statement. And I think that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops needs to actually look in the mirror a little bit and recognize that when they receive over $100 million to help resettle illegal immigrants, are they worried about humanitarian concerns, or are they actually worried about their bottom line? We are going to enforce immigration law. We're We're going to protect the American people.
Yeah.
Donald Trump promised to do that. And I believe the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, if they're worried about the humanitarian costs of immigration enforcement, let them talk about the children who have been sex trafficked because of the wide open border of Joe Biden.
You personally
let them talk
support them
about
going into
people like
schools
Laken
and
Riley
churches.
who were brutally murdered. I support us doing law enforcement against violent criminals, whether they're illegal immigrants or anybody else, in a way that keeps us safe. Let me ask this question, Margaret. Let's separate the immigration issue. If you had a violent murderer in a school, of course I want law enforcement to go and get that person out.
Of course.
So what's the point of the question?
You changed the regulation this week. That's the point of the question.
Exactly.
Giving the authority to go into churches and go into schools.
We empowered law enforcement to enforce
But
the
that
law
also
everywhere.
So he turned it completely around. Yep. Just geniusly done, dude.
That was purely masterful, honestly. Like, and just breaking it down to the most logical point is, do you really want to be sitting in a church service next to, I don't know, just pick the worst imaginable human being? Yeah.
I wonder if the Council of fucking Catholic Bishops, was it? I forget what he said.
Yeah.
How much of that money to resettle immigrants into this country comes from people like Soros or something like that? I'm betting the answer is not zero.
Yeah, a lot of those NGOs are paid off by Soros and Bilderberg.
Yeah, and then you have like, for example, you have Catholic quote unquote charities, or like, what was it tonight? There was Christians Against Violence Charities was there. We have representatives from there that were at the committee tonight. So I mean, you have these people who are paid off by that's Mike Bloomberg funding it, and it's like a tax-free nonprofit type of thing. You know, shoving money towards that.
Preston Garvey says the Pope was fine taking money from Hitler. That's also true. Yep.
As a
to protect Americans.
Effect, a chilling effect, arguably, to people to not send their kids to school.
I desperately hope it has a chilling effect on illegal immigrants coming into our country.
U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
Do you think she looks in the mirror and practices this faith?
Effect, a chilling effect.
I'm going to mute it. Hold on. We're going to mute this so we can't hear her. Like, God, dude. Oh, my God. I couldn't do
I know what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, dude, she watched way too many episodes of Friends. She's trying to pull a Jennifer Aniston type facial contort. I guarantee she was like watches Friends, looks in the mirror, and watches what Jennifer Aniston would do with her little snark or whatever.
Has a chilling effect on illegal immigrants
think the
coming
U.S.
into our
Conference
country.
of Catholic Bishops are actively hiding criminals?
I think the
Yeah, I do. Actually, if they're facilitating bringing people across the border and into the United States, then literally they are actively hiding criminals. Like literally, that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, most of these so-called NGOs are also
frankly
admitting to aiding and abetting these fucking violent criminals.
Yeah,
which is even worse.
Yeah, yep. It's almost like, I don't know, like how Soros has taken down several countries economically using means and undermining things and not spending that much money and then fucking buying up the infrastructure for pennies on the dollar after the thing collapses, and that's how he made all of his money. It's almost like they're doing that here now, or at least they're trying.
Well,
they're also following.
Oh, go ahead.
They're also following a lot of the Rules for Radicals playbook all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean that's Hillary Clinton's favorite author, fucking Saul Alinsky. She loves that guy. Anyway, let's keep going.
Not been a good partner in common sense immigration enforcement that the American people voted for, and I hope, again, as a devout Catholic, that they'll do better.
There are 5 legal challenges already to one of the other immigration actions, the order on birthright citizenship. A federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan, I think you'd agree, has some conservative credentials,
sure.
Paused the order to end birthright citizenship, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. How do you reconcile this challenge to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution?
So I obviously disagree with that judge, and these things, some of them will be litigated. That's the nature of our constitutional system. But here's the basic idea of President Trump's view on this. If you are a lawful permanent resident or a legal immigrant who plans to stay, your children, of course, should become American citizens. But let's say you're the child of an ambassador. You don't become...
But that's not part of it.
Well, that
There's
is
already a
that is
carve-out
that is
having
an
to do
important
with kids of
principle.
diplomats.
But we're saying that carve-out should apply to anybody who doesn't plan to stay here. If you come here on vacation and you have a baby in an American hospital, that baby doesn't become an American citizen. If you're an illegal alien and you come here temporarily, hopefully, your child does not become an American citizen by virtue of just having been born on American soil. It's a very basic principle in American immigration law that if you want to become an American citizen and you've done it the right way, and the American people and their collective wisdom have welcomed you into our national community, then you become a citizen. But temporary residents, people who come in here, whether legally or illegally, and don't plan to stay, their children should become American citizens. I don't know any country that does that or why we would be different.
Oh, well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country.
No, this was a country founded by settlers.
This is a unique country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world. No country says that temporary visitors, their children, will be given complete access to the benefits and blessings of American citizenship. America should actually look out for the interests of our citizens first. And that means, again, if you're here permanently and lawfully, your kid becomes an American citizen. If you're not here permanently, if you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and don't plan to be, why would we make those people's children American citizens permanently?
I want to ask you about refugee admissions, which were just suspended by the president. That has nothing to do with the.
It's funny how every time like he scores fucking like nailed you inside of the coffin type points, they just move to the next question like it didn't happen. Like nothing happened before this. This is the first question I've asked. Sorry.
I want to ask you about refugee admissions, which were just suspended by the president. That has nothing to do with the U.S. border. Refugee screening takes 18 to 24 months to go through. They are heavily vetted. Left literally at the airport this week were thousands of Afghans.
Good.
Some of whom had worked with the United States government and were promised to come here. When you talked to us in August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These
It's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted. And many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
Boom.
No, and that was a very
Dude,
particular case. It
Spike
wasn't
that
clear if he was.
football.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
seriously.
Like that was just he ran it like it was a 90-yard run, dude. Like he spiked it. Yeah, because I mean, he hit it on the head though. He's talking about like what's best for us, and also our family and our future. And the thing is, when you have basically war age men, our military age men coming in and just living vagrant lifestyles, it's not. How is that helpful to us? I mean, there's no. The thing that has made me angry about the immigration issue probably since the 90s is the fact that there's been this lackadaisical non-effort on the behalf of like forcing people to assimilate. Like everyone talks about how it's such a bad thing to assimilate, but if you're coming here to become an American. Like she brought up the immigrant stuff. My immigrant ancestors, they assimilated. There's a reason I don't speak German. There's a reason, you know what I mean? There's no, sorry.
That was also a time in history where we actually had downtimes in immigration, and that's the problem right now is we never have any downtime because every fucking year we have X amount of people being forced to come into our country, and it's like, why are we letting millions of fucking Islam into our nation every goddamn year when these people are known to hate us?
I wonder what percentage of Afghanistan's population is 30,000? Is that like above 1%? I wonder. It's got to be close to 1%. Like, we got to take a whole 1% of a fucking country who probably hates us for the most part. There's probably a good chance that, you know, if you pick 10 people who were immigrating from Afghanistan, how many of them would potentially support a jihad attack in America? The answer is not 0. So, yeah, looking at these people a little harder, letting people in a little slower, letting the, you know, like the refugee programs, I think need to be looked at hard. There can't be as many refugees as they are claiming. All of these countries are not like places that are that bad that they have refugees coming from, you know? Like, some of them, yeah, I guess, yeah. And if it's the actual case that you're like a refugee from another country, then yeah, I guess we should probably look at taking you in and helping you out, you know? But if there's even a chance that you might be a fucking terrorist, sucks to be from that country, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Canada will let you in.
I mean, the thing is, though, like, what's the worst part about all of this, though, is they're not letting people, like, they're just letting people in carte blanche, like with like the thing with Haiti. And there was, when this woman's saying properly vetted, like, how are they properly vetted? And then what they're talking about, the refugees. Oh, why? Because their country's poor. They have adults.
Like I get in because I deserved it, and then I let my brother and my 2 sisters in, and then they let their like husbands and wives in, and then they let their kids in, and then they let their like cut their husbands, brothers and sisters in, and then like the mothers and father, and then pretty soon you let me in, so now you have to let in 400 other people because we're all like a family effectively, and like you let part of the family in, so this chain migration shit needs to fucking go, you know?
Absolutely it does.
Yeah, we'll let your brother in if he's also a fucking scientist, you know, which is why we let you in, because we need more scientists. But like the price of bringing in one scientist is like 300 people from Afghanistan. Like, fuck no, bro.
Well, it's not even just that. It's also these people that claim to be like asylum seekers that are in danger or whatever. A lot of them aren't even in danger in their own countries.
Right. Like, what are you seeking asylum from? Economic hardship? Like, why don't you farm harder, bitch? Jesus Christ. I know farming's difficult, but it should be harder to fucking get into this country illegally than farming.
I know it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, they should make it more easy for them to realize, like, don't forget, people like to use certain resources and stuff from another country that they cannot get there more easily. So, of course, somebody's going to travel all the way over there.
Have they heard of farming cocaine? I heard it's very lucrative.
Then also, with the people that we are bringing in, whether it be as refugees or something else for that matter, it should be people that want to assimilate into our nation. And that's exactly where the whole thing in South Africa comes in at, because people are actually political asylum seekers. They're going to die. They will be killed if they do not escape that country pretty soon.
No, yeah, well, from what you said, that's
dude, there are instances like the Bora farmers in South Africa where, like, absolutely they're getting targeted politically by their government, and they're getting targeted racially by the fucking population. So they're hitting it from both sides, from population racism against white people, and it's also the government who's directly targeting them and taking away their ancestral lands that they've had literally since 1700s. Like 1776, America was founded. Also, there was Bora farmers fucking farming the land in South Africa. It's the same fucking people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and they actually had contracts with the original tribes they bought the land from. It wasn't like they came in with guns, germs, and steel. Well, you know, it was.
From what I understand, most of the land was unoccupied because before they even got there, there was like a giant fucking war between the tribes, and they all killed each other off to the point where there wasn't even a population there anymore. They just walked in and said, "I guess we'll farm here." Like, no one's here.
Yeah.
And then they started feeding everybody, and then it became the most productive, richest country in all of Africa. And then everyone's like, "This is our country." Like, no, man. Like, yeah, they need to get out. You're right. They need to get the fuck out. They can come here. We'll move them into Iowa. They can start making corn.
Well, no, I was gonna say, let me backtrack a little bit. You know what Ohio said, because people forget about this, and this does play to a matter. You know, culturally, I mean, how you gonna have somebody assimilate you around in your country if they don't, go with the same culture? There's gonna be a clash. It doesn't even matter if it's from America or you could be from another country or whatever. That causes a lot more problems.
That's also why we need to make English America's language at this point.
Well, they better do it fast, because that's.
New York is attempting to pass a bill to require FBI background checks when purchasing a 3D printer.
Jesus.
First Amendment.
I'm sure that'll stop the next Unabomber. Anyway. All right, we got to finish this shit. It's only 4 minutes left.
He was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
That's the quote of the whole fucking interview right there. Hold on. She says something, and he goes,
I want it for my kids. I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
I don't really care, Margaret. Sorry, if you can't tell my voice, I'm still getting over being sick. I caught the fucking bird AIDS.
2 weeks ago, you were on Fox News and you said, if you protested peacefully on January 6th and had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Did you counsel the president against these blanket pardons for 1,500 people?
Well, Margaret, I noticed,
including those who committed violence.
Margaret, I noticed that you cut off the thing that I said immediately after that. The full quote is that, of course, there are gray areas. And here's the nature of the gray area. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice denied constitutional protections in the prosecutions. There were double standards in how sentences were applied to the J6 protesters versus other groups. What the president said consistently on the campaign is that he was going to look at a case-by-case basis.
This is blank.
And that's exactly what we did. We looked at 1,600 cases. And the thing that came out of it, Margaret, is that there was a massive denial of due process of liberty, and a lot of people were denied their constitutional rights. The president believes that. I believe that, and I think he made the right decision.
Daniel Rodriguez used an electroshock weapon against a policeman who was dragged out of the defensive line by plunging it into the officer's neck. He was in prison, sentenced to 12 years, 7
So he tased a cop.
months. He got a pardon.
How long was he in prison for tasing a cop?
Officer's neck. He was in prison, sentenced to 12 years, 7 months.
12 years, 7 months for tasing a cop.
He got a pardon. Ronald Maccabee hit a cop while wearing reinforced brass knuckle gloves, and he held one down on the ground as other rioters assailed the officer for over 20 seconds, causing a concussion. If you stand with law enforcement, how can you call these people unjustly imprisoned?
Margaret, you're separating, there's an important issue here. There's what the people actually did on January the 6th, and we're not saying that everybody did everything perfectly. And then what did Merrick Garland's Department of Justice do in unjustly prosecuting well over 1,000 Americans in a way that was politically motivated?
Is violence like that against a police officer ever justified?
Violence against a police officer is not justified, but that doesn't mean that you should have Merrick Garland's weaponized Department of Justice expose you to incredibly unfair process, to denial of constitutional rights, and frankly, to a double standard that was not applied to many people, including, of course, the Black Lives Matter rioters who killed over 24 people and never had the weight of a weaponized Department of Justice come against them. Mm-hmm. The pardon power is not just for people who are angels or people who are perfect. And of course, we love our law enforcement and want people to be peaceful with everybody, but especially with our good cops. That's a separate issue from what Merrick Garland's Department of Justice did. We rectified a wrong, and I stand by it.
I'm being told we're out of time, but I want to quickly ask you, the richest men in the world.
She keeps doing this, dude. She gets fucking nailed inside of the coffin. And then after she gets nailed on every single point, driven home to perfection, she just closes her eyes and fucking shoots again.
World were at that Capitol on Inauguration Day. Heads of Amazon, Google, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. In August, you told us Google and Facebook are
Whoa, hold on. Who's this bitch?
She does.
No idea.
Is that
What
Barack
the
Obama?
hell? Is
No,
that
that's just
like
some dude.
is that like the cat lady from The Simpsons? Is that like she could be start yelling gibberish and throwing cats? Like, what the hell is that?
Who's this guy? I bet he's important.
They're head
Actually,
of Google.
head of Google. You got Bezos and
His chick.
Bezos' wife.
Yeah, he was just wearing a
he's
bra like it was a shirt.
So she was
classy.
pulling a Sue Ellen Mishke.
Yep.
Nice.
They bring the '80s back.
If anyone else got that fucking reference, 10 points. I'm surprised I remembered the name. All right, let's finish this shit. Last
Google,
question.
Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. In August, you told us Google and Facebook are too big. We ought to take the Teddy Roosevelt approach. Break them up. Don't let them control what people are allowed to say. They've now donated to the Trump inauguration. Are you still going to break up big tech?
So you know who else was at the inauguration was my mom and a lot of people who just supported the president and fought every single day to get his election. And
They
to make
give
it,
$1
and to make
million
it, and to make it
each
possible.
to the inauguration.
And there were a lot of people who didn't give $1 million to the inauguration.
pretty
who
good
were on that-
seating.
Who were on that stage, Margaret. They didn't have as good a seating as my mom and a lot of other people who were there to support us. But look, we believe fundamentally that big tech does have too much power. And there are two ways they can go about this. They can either respect Americans' constitutional rights. They can stop engaging in censorship. And if they don't, you can be absolutely sure that Donald Trump's leadership is not going to look too kindly on them.
So they're still on notice.
They're very much on notice.
Dude, still masterful. Like, amazing fucking... He's got the juice, man. He's got the juice.
Yeah, that woman was JD's mom.
Oh, that was JD's mom?
So the cat
Was
lady
hanging in
is
there.
JD's mom.
The cat lady's
Okay.
JD's mom. All right.
Well, you got to think about it, man. She was run hard because she was a drug addict for a long time, and she celebrated her, I believe it was 10th anniversary of being sober now.
So
That's what I
she
said,
was
she's
run
hanging
hard
on.
and put up wet. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god. All right. Lordy, Lord of mercy.
Have you?
All right,
looked
then
at
there's
the,
another video. Hold on, bear with me. I don't know if we'll watch this one in its entirety, but I thought she just did such an awesome job. Again, this is a job I couldn't do. History. Okay, here we go. So this is the new White House press secretary. What's her name? Anyone? I don't know.
Mm.
Hottie
Well-
McBlondie.
I don't know
Yeah.
who it is yet, so it's going to be
Oh,
interesting
it's
to me.
Caroline Levitt. Levitt. It's actually there. It's not her.
And Ratcliffe, Homeland Secretary of President America, face you. Good afternoon, everybody. How are we?
Somebody in their 40s or older.
It's an honor to be here with all of you. A lot of familiar faces in the room, a lot of new faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun. The Senate has already confirmed 5 of President Trump's exceptional.
All right, this isn't the part that I was excited about. Was her like thing that she said at the beginning? It was when she actually started taking the Q&A. So let's skip to the Q&A.
All executive departments and agencies to help deliver emergency price relief, not just the legacy
Blah blah blah.
Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. Executive action this
How long is she going
historic
for?
action. I gaggled aboard Air Force One to mark the first 100 days of this administration, 4 p.m. last Friday, our first 100 hours rather. And this president did more in the first 100 hours than the previous president did in the first 100 days. So President Trump, I think you can all expect for him to continue to work at this breakneck speed. So I hope you're all ready to work very hard. I know that we are. Zeke Miller.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as speaking on, advocating on behalf of the president, or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for
Like, damn,
a fact
she's pretty
there
fucking
have been
good too,
lies
isn't
that
she?
have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline, just on a substantive question, yesterday, the White House Office of Management and Budget directed across the board freeze, with some exceptions for individual assistance, we understand, to federal grants. It's caused a lot of confusion around the country among Head Start providers, among providers services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the portal. Could you help us clear up some confusion,
Yes.
give some certainty to folks? And also, is that uncertainty, how does that uncertainty service the president's voters?
Well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building. So let me provide the certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Thanks, Caroline.
Sure.
How long is this pause going to last?
Shit, NC Lucky says Trump got rid of Office of Gun Violence Prevention.
Good.
I sound like the claws of this lady.
Yeah, it's it's an error 404 if you try to go to that website now.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
fucking.
We still got a while to go. Maybe
Right,
get rid
yeah.
of the NSA. Maybe.
Fucking Trump for the win, baby.
And how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime?
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board. And if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country. And it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding,
There
at
was-
least for a period of time.
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOGE and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good.
That's a lot of condoms, dude.
I
I
mean,
got a lot
my
of free
rubbers.
time.
you know what? You got to keep the goat
Rubbers.
safe. I mean, the goats deserve safe sex.
Oh yeah.
The livestock demands.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Department of Agriculture issue for them.
Okay, so I just looked it up. Population of Gaza. Any guesses?
Not a lot.
200,000.
I'm gonna go with 1.5 million.
Really?
400,000.
It's 2.1 million.
Wow.
So not that many people is the answer. They said $50 million for condoms. So they were going to give everybody in Gaza, man, woman, and child, $25 worth of condoms.
Trojan man.
See, it
Phil
makes you
Oprah was over there.
wonder.
You get a box, and you get a box. Everybody gets a
It make-
box.
It makes you wonder. Some of those fundings is either like, front for putting money, or are these people really that dumb?
Yeah, I think that was more like a front for, hey, we're going to give them a bunch of guns and ammo, and we're going to call it condoms.
No, it's probably a front for like, hey, we're going to go drop off like fucking 25 condoms in Gaza and pay ourselves $49.5 million.
Mhm.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Good stewards of tax dollars.
And so this doesn't affect Meals on Wheels or Head Start or disaster aid?
Again, it does not affect individual assistance that's going to Americans.
To follow up on Nancy, do you think there will be a list of who is affected and how much money is affected? How will these contractors and organizations know if they are actually having their funding frozen? And then secondly, if you're willing, can you just clarify, is the end goal of this to essentially challenge Congress or to prove that the president can withhold federal funding? In other words, is this an attempt to pick a fight to prove that he can do this?
No, absolutely not. As it says right here in the memo, which I have, and I'd encourage all of you to read it, it says the American people elected President Trump to be the president of the United States and gave him a mandate to increase the impact of every federal dollar. This memo requires federal agencies to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs and supporting activities consistent with the president's policies and requirements. The American people gave President Trump an overwhelming mandate on November 5th, and he's just trying to ensure that the tax money going out the door in this very bankrupt city actually aligns with the will and the priorities of the American people.
Yes. Welcome. You look great. You're doing a great job. You talked about transparency, and some of us in this room know how just transparent President Trump has been the last 5 or 6 years. I think you'll do the same. My question is, do you think this latest incident with the president of Colombia is indicative of the global, powerful respect they have for President Trump moving forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also world peace?
Absolutely. I'll echo the answer that the president gave on Air Force One last night when he was asked a very similar question by one of your colleagues in the media. This signifies peace through strength is back. And this president will not tolerate illegal immigration into America's interior. And he expects every nation on this planet, again, to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens who illegally entered into our country and broke America's laws. Won't be tolerated. And as you saw, the Colombian government quickly folded and agreed to all of President Trump's demands. Flights are underway once again.
Damn, she's good.
Questions on deportations, if I may. President Trump had said on the campaign trail that he would deport pro-Hamas students who are here on visas. And on his first day in office, he signed an executive order that said, quote, the U.S. must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the U.S. do not bear hostile attitudes towards the citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles. So should we take this executive order as Trump saying he would be open to deporting those students who are here on visas but, hold pro-Hamas sympathies?
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them. And that's what this administration is hard at work at doing. We receive data from DHS and from ICE every single day. From what we hear on the ground, ICE agents are feeling incredibly empowered right now because they actually have a leader in this building who is supporting.
Daniel says, to be fair, we don't really want Gaza reproducing.
Yeah. We don't want that. No.
It's a pretty good point. Maybe it was $50 million well spent. Although, to be fair, do you think that anyone in Gaza knows how to use a condom?
No.
And if they knew how to use a condom, do you think anyone in Gaza would use a condom?
No.
No.
So-
They're the prolapsed goat anuses there say otherwise.
Yeah. I don't know. We can, certainly, I don't know, some kind of gay bomb would help them out.
Yeah.
Remember, just a bomb you could drop on people and turn them gay? They had that, don't they?
Yep,
they
the
could have a
halitosis bombs.
Yeah, they could have the DNC convention. Remember, they had the vasectomy and abortion bans show up at the Democratic convention.
Yep.
Just send them there.
Force vasectomy all of the fucking terrorists.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm okay with that.
Supporting them in doing their jobs that they were hired to do, which is to detain, arrest, and deport illegal criminals who have invaded our nation's borders over the past 4 years. That's what the president is committed to seeing. Peter.
Very quickly, just following up on the question on immigration first. President Trump, during the course of the campaign in 2024, said the following about illegal immigration. He said, they're going back home where they belong, and we start with the criminals. There are many, many criminals. NBC News has learned that ICE arrested 1,179 undocumented immigrants on Sunday, but nearly half of them, 566 of the migrants, appear to have no prior criminal record besides entering the country illegally. Is the president still focused exclusively, which is a civil crime, it's not criminal?
It's a federal crime.
So I'm asking, though, he said he was going to focus on those violent offenders first. So is violent offenders no longer the predicate for these people to be deported?
The president has said countless times on the campaign trail, I've been with him at the rallies, I know you've been there covering them too, Peter, that he is focused on launching the largest mass deportation operation in American history of illegal criminals. And if you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal. And so therefore, you are subject to deportation.
I apologize for interrupting. So to be clear, it's not violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking place.
The president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country, but the president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on the interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off the table.
Understood. Then let me ask you a separate question about the confusion that still exists across the country right now as it relates to the freeze or pause as it's described. President Trump, of course, ran one of the key policy items was that he was going to lower prices, lower the cost of everything from groceries, as he often said. But in many of the cases, it would seem that some of these moves could raise prices for real Americans on everything from low-income heating, that program, childcare programs. Will nothing that the president's doing here in terms of the freeze in these programs raise prices on ordinary Americans?
What particular actions are you referring to?
Send all the gays to Gaza to deliver the condoms.
I saw that. That was I was laughing to myself when I saw that comment pop up. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh man, like all these left-wing kids that are like pro-Palestine should just go over there and hand out the condoms and see what happens. That'd be amazing.
What's the saying? Two birds, one stone.
Yep.
We're into LHEAP right now. That's the low income heating program, for example. We can talk about, there's no clarity, so I could refer to a lot of them. We don't know what they are specifically. Can you tell us that LHEAP, the LIHEAP is not one of those affected?
So you're asking a hypothetical based on programs that you can't even identify. What I can tell you
just to be
is
clear, since you guys haven't identified, let's do it together just for Americans at home. Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits, food stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause. I can get you the full list after this briefing from the Office of Management and Budget, but I do want to address the cost cutting. Because that's certainly very important, and cutting the cost of living in this country. President Trump has taken historic action over the past week to do that. He actually signed a memorandum to deliver emergency price relief for American families, which took a number of actions. I can walk you through those. He also repealed many onerous Biden administration regulations. We know over the past 4 years, American households has been essentially taxed 55 in regulations from the previous administration. President Trump, with the swipe of his pen, rescinded those, which will ultimately put more money back in the pockets of the American people. So deregulation is a big deal. And then when it comes to energy, I mean, the president signed an executive order to declare a national energy emergency here at home, which is going to make America energy dominant. We know that energy is one of the #1 drivers of inflation. And so that's why the president wants to increase our energy supply to bring down costs for Americans. The Trump energy boom is incoming, and Americans can expect that.
I think, I mean, I just wanted to showcase how good she is and how good the fucking Biden, the Trump administration has been in choosing people to put in places this time. It seems like they really, really learned their lesson last time of like, oh shit, wait a minute, we have all of these cabinet positions to fill and all. I don't know, just grab whoever and we'll put them in is kind of what they did last time, I think. For the, not entirely, but for the most part, or at least in part. And this time, I think they've got like every little position like well thought out and fucking like really good, smart, hardworking, like good people are on his side and working for him. And this is just another example.
Not completely. We cannot let Pam Bondi become AG because she had created red flag laws in Florida when she was AG there at the state level, and she's still pro red flag law.
Well, and then the other thing that has happened with the Trump administration is, let's say Pam Bondi, a bunch of people are going to get on Twitter or whatever and be like, fucking Pam Bondi, no. And Trump's going to hear it, and he might listen. Like, honestly, dude, I think this is the best administration I've ever seen. This is the best first week of any president I've ever seen. Best press secretary I've ever seen. Best vice president I've ever seen. Best team I've ever seen on a political level like this. I don't know, man. It's a dream.
I agree. The cool thing of like is you can actually see the juxtaposition for the previous press secretary, or even the ginger that was before her. Like, she's actually engaging and not just doing spin, because the other two was just spin. People wanted legitimate answers. Just even like the ones that were coming from left-leaning MSM AP reporters, they would still just throw spin. She is just like being very direct, and that's, I don't know, watching her at work gave me a semi. So yeah,
how old is she? I'd do it.
I'm 41, so I think she's she's age appropriate.
Daniel says put his ass on Mount Rushmore at this point. Yeah, but like, imagine Trump trying to pass a bill to put his own face on around Mount Rushmore. They would go insane. They would all.
Oh, dude, it should be like one of those like rich Republican guys just should buy one of the mountains in Colorado and just carve it, and just in the face of Trump, just looking down on Denver.
Just like Mount Evans is now Mount Trump.
Yes. Yeah, because remember because they called it Mount Blue Sky. Remember they renamed it Mount Blue Sky because Governor Evans was part of this somehow tangentially related to the Sand Creek massacre, quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't recognize that. It's not Mount Blue
I don't
Sky
either
in this household.
Yeah, I'm a 5th gen dude. I'm a 5th gen Radin, so I'm with you.
Oh shit! A wild Keiko has appeared.
Oh, hello, Honda.
So apparently Carolyn Levitt is 27.
27?
Yeah, I know she looks way older there.
Yeah, she does look a little older than that, doesn't she? Well, whatever. I'd still do it.
It's the pantsuit. It's the pantsuit. It always ages you 10 years.
Hello, never enough ammo.
Oh, hello.
I don't even think that's how Keiko talks. She's just a bitch.
Has anyone seen Miles?
Miles! Miles! You gotta get all mad and say it.
You gotta yell at him for nothing, for doing his job.
You killed my plants! How the fuck are you doing, buddy?
Stressed the fuck out. I fucking got to move across the country in about 13, 14 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Have you done anything yet?
I mean, some stuff. But, like, wasn't going to do a bunch of stuff until I knew everything for sure was set.
Sounds like everything's set.
Yeah. So
sounds like you should get your ass moving.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you got to do? You got to pack. Are you coming up first, or is the whole family coming with you all at once?
All at once.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna rent a truck, pick it up on the 10th. I'll have it for 5 days, and so yeah, if I pick it up on the 10th, which is a Monday, I gotta have it returned back by the 15th, which is Saturday. So at that point, I have 5 days to load up the truck, get everybody going. Takes about 2 days to get there, unload everything, and get the truck back somewhere up there. I don't know.
Are you like pissed about how many toys and fucking guns and ammo you have now that you got to pack up?
A little bit, yeah.
Those toys, especially, dude, they just take up space.
Yeah, but they're the easiest thing to pack. I'm just gonna like
toss them in a box.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like reach my hand on a shelf and go and just scoop them into a fucking box. Moving guns and ammo, that's a bitch. So, yeah, and 2 motorcycles and furniture and
I forgot about the bikes. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So, and I got to get a car hauler, but to haul behind the truck because we have too many
Honda
vehicles to drive them. So one of them has to be towed. So,
all right, man, you're on the move.
Oh, fuck yeah!
You got a landing spot yet?
Working on that right now. I got approved. I submitted an application for this one place on Friday. Dude got back to me this morning and was like, "Oh, it's been approved." And I was like, he said he had like 3 houses available. He's like, "Which one do you want?" I was like, "I don't know. Send me all the fucking pictures." So
they're like, "You're white. You're all right."
White equals right.
I don't know how things are in Michigan, but that's how I assume it is.
It's going to be weird living in a place again where most people are white. I've been living down here for 23 years, dude.
Just swimming in Mexicans.
Yeah. So
they got Mexicans up there in Michigan.
They do. It's a really, really small percentage of the population.
I mean, not for long. Not for long.
The
They have them
state
right now.
itself is fucking tiny compared to what I'm used to. So,
But you got trees there, so there's that.
True.
Dude, I wonder what rent would be in Denver if they got rid of all of the illegals who live here in Denver.
Well, didn't they just get rid of one? They got rid of the fucking Venezuelan gang leader in Aurora. They scooped his ass up today. I saw that in the news.
I didn't see that. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about the football party where they got like 49 of them at one guy's house?
Mhm.
Like it was, yeah. There was like, yeah. The thing is, so we're talking about like it's not just them; it's the other cartels. It's MS-13. I mean, they've been operating here for decades. They're like entrenched. I mean, we need the Colorado National Guard to just kind of go ahead and just go to Aurora and North Denver and just kind of clear it out.
One thing I did notice, the town I'm moving to, there's like 5 gun stores within 5 minutes of where I'm going to be moving to.
That's not good.
I was like,
what's the name of the town?
It's Lapeer, Lapeer. It's like a really, really nice historical Michigan town that fucking everybody loves. Like, it's got the best ratings and the best schools. And I was even talking to Duke about it, and Duke's like, dude, if we hadn't bought this house, I would live in Lapeer. He's like, it's fantastic. He's like, you're gonna love it. And I was like, okay.
It matters. That way up north, or that's more south?
In the middle and to the east.
Oh, okay.
So it's not quite the UP?
No. No. I mean, to me, everything's going to be close because I'm coming from Texas, which is like 4 times the size of Michigan.
Well, how do you really feel about going from a constitutional carry state to now an anti-gun state?
I don't really. I mean, I've looked at all their laws. I mean, it's not none of their laws are going to affect me. I have a concealed carry license, which I have reciprocity with in Michigan, and which by having that lets me bypass a lot of the shit that a normal person would have to do in Michigan to get their Michigan license. So I can just do that.
Just don't go to fucking, I don't know. Don't take the
Detroit.
family down to Flint.
Don't go to Detroit.
Nah.
Yeah, stay away from Detroit.
Yeah, my family members got shot at, and they never even did that coming out the hoods here in LA.
I don't even know what you just said, but all right.
Hey, Matt.
I don't know. I was looking at like crime rates in Michigan, even in like Detroit, which is like supposed to be the worst. And I was looking at it and going, like, according to their population, like their crime rates are not that bad. Like, I live in a fucking border town, dude. Like, and I don't know what I don't know. I was looking at their crime rates. I was even looking at like Flint crime rates and shit, and I was like, that's fucking nothing. What the fuck? Like, why are people freaked out about that? Come to a fucking border town and see some shit.
Here's crime rates in Michigan. Apparently, there's quite a bit of crime in northern Michigan. I don't know, just like getting drunk, and hitting your family, or
All that
what?
militia shit. Yeah. So look at Lapeer. Go down. Right there. Okay. See right there. That's Lapeer.
Just don't live right here in this red spot. You'll be all right.
That's the town drunk. That's just his
Yeah,
property.
you can live in the yellow and the orange and the green, but this red spot, that ain't good.
Probably like a bunch of carjackings and shit.
I don't
It's
know.
just
Just like
where
an
the town meth head
apartment
lives.
complex.
That's like a fucking. That's like a fucking plant. That's not houses or anything. That's like a fucking manufacturing plant.
Yeah, like industrial area or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that's fucking business theft is what that shit is. Because all that red area right there, there's no houses there.
This is the Thumb Correctional Facility.
Hell yeah, there's always something inside going on inside the
great.
place.
Well, there you go. That's not too bad. And you're, kind of out in the country. Dude, have you ever been to Lake Michigan?
No, I've never been to
Lake
Michigan.
Huron? Or any of the Great Lakes?
No.
Lake Erie?
They're pretty fucking cool, dude. They're like the ocean.
Yeah, I actually like to go to the Upper Peninsula for kayaking on the
Like, look,
archipelago.
scroll down to Texas. Okay, look where I live.
It's all around.
Okay? So I don't know why. Like I said, I looked at the crime rates in Michigan, and because everybody's talking about Detroit and Flint and shit, and I was looking up stuff on there. I'm like, this is nothing, dude. Like, I live in a goddamn border town. Like,
Okay, let me play devil's advocate. How many people will often want to live near the border?
a lot of people, dude. A fuck ton of people, especially in the last fucking 5 to 8 years because of fucking SpaceX. Why the fuck do you think I'm leaving? There's too many goddamn people down here. When I moved down here 23 years ago, it was like a small town.
Well, okay. Remember, you had an investment to live out there for the longest, so until all that stuff started going on.
Yeah,
dude, the entire southern border of Texas is red.
I know.
Yep.
I know. And
Like,
people are like,
everywhere-
"Oh, it's level up there in Michigan." I'm like, I think I'll be fine, thank you.
You got to go like 300 miles north to find anything green.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I think it'll be just fine.
Wait, show me California. I'm curious.
Well, I want to look at Colorado real quick. Yeah, look how green color. I mean, it looks greener. And you scroll in, and it's not so green. Let's see where I'm at. And I'm living in the orange. We're living in orange. All right, where are you at?
California, LA. You know,
which part?
Pretty much I see it right there. Just zoom in a little bit to the more to the left near the coastline.
Yeah, he's in red.
All that's red.
Yeah, he's in fucking red.
Yeah,
Left
see
near
that
the
right there?
coastline.
That straight
Right
line.
here.
Yeah, all that's red. I live there in the
By
middle.
San Pedro.
I'm near close to the coastline. Yeah, see right there, like look right here. That's where I'm at.
Marina Del Rey.
The big old line. No, to the right.
This one.
To the way east. I mean, way east. Yeah, right there.
This one.
No.
This one.
Southeast. Southeast. I'm way down. Yeah, southeast. Yeah,
Well,
there
southeast
go
would be down here. Oh wait, southeast. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, there. All that.
Just go along with Honda so he can.
I'm
dump
retarded
people already.
Why are the islands red? That's no good. You'd think
Yeah,
these
that is
would
a
be
good
fucking
question.
crime free.
Because there's like two people and they killed each other, and so that's the only crime there, but it's also the only population.
Don't you know that's where the rich people go for their ape knife fights?
Yeah.
They forget illegal gambling. That's all that is.
Damn, Kansas, what are you doing over here? Look at this.
Meth.
Fucking, is that anywhere near Wichita? Because that's the meth capital of fucking.
It's all
the
meth,
Midwest.
bro.
Wichita. I don't know where Wichita is.
Everybody I saw in meth in
That's Nebraska.
Wichita looked like they were on fucking meth.
So
That's
might as well
just
check
white
Gary,
people.
Indiana.
They're just white people, Matt.
It was like going to Ohio or something.
Ooh,
Take
them
personal
fighting words,
insult for that
Patriot.
one.
Dodge City. Oh, here we go. Kansas. Where's Wichita? Wichita.
Yeah. Meth Central.
It looks like a big truck stop when we drove through there, I thought. It was just like a truck stop that just kept going. You know?
I just wanted to get the fuck out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, it wasn't a good place.
No.
So where do you got it? You're starting here. You're going to take the main highway up through
No,
Wichita?
so I got to go through Louisiana. So I'm going through Houston.
Oh, you're
and
going
speeding over.
immediately east.
Well, the highways aren't even. It's not. Okay, yeah, like you're going up Houston, and then you kind of catty corner up into Louisiana, and then I don't know, skip across a bunch of fucking states and end up in Michigan, something like that. I don't fucking know. I know we're gonna go through Nashville. Is it Nashville? We're gonna go through a few fucking major cities. I don't remember exactly though.
How long is the drive?
29 hours. If it was just me, I'd do it straight, but it's the family, so we're gonna
Like
do
2
it.
days.
Yeah. If it was just me, I'd fucking drive straight through. Be like, I'm fucking
All right.
motherfucker.
Directions from here. And we're going to
Lapeer. Down.
Find it.
Find Flint and then go right. Go east. You were just right there.
Yeah, I got to back up so I know. There it
See?
is.
Flint, Lapeer. There you go.
Directions to here.
It looks pretty wooded. That's pretty awesome, man.
Dude, it's got to think for a long time. That's not good.
Yeah, so like, let's see. We're gonna go.
This doesn't say even touch Louisiana.
Oh, well, we're going through fucking Texarkana. Okay.
Arkansas, or you can go across Oklahoma.
See, yeah,
Is it
see,
Ray
one
on
of
the way?
one of the ones, fuck you. One of the ones takes us through. One of the routes takes us through Nashville, and then
Yeah, here you go. This one.
and then the other one goes, I think, all the way up. Does it go to Chicago and then cut over? Pretty close to Chicago. I don't know which way we're gonna fucking go. We might
be a nice stop to Nashville.
probably gonna take the route that goes through Nashville and Cincinnati and shit. Would be
No, dude, I'd go to Chicago, man. Visit Leo, get some pizza.
No, dude, we're gonna be driving through. I'm not stopping anywhere. I'll go visit Leo some other time. I'm not fucking be like, hey, I've got fucking 4 cars and a fucking truck loaded with shit. Let's hang out. No.
Yeah, that's a lot of cars.
Yeah, get some pizza, man.
I mean, Nashville's a good spot. I mean, you know, like see a little bit of stuff in Nashville. Just head straight there.
Damn,
Nashville and Memphis, actually, if you go that route.
All right, let's see how far it would be for me to drive there.
It's just gonna be all I-80, pretty much.
Uh, 18 and a half hours for me. So
Technically, that is closer than I am now. By what? 3 hours? 2 or 3 hours, something like that. Because remember how long
it's the same.
No, it's not.
the same
I
for
don't
me
go
to
that
you.
way because that sends you through fucking highways in Texas that don't fucking exist. Remember? I had to go up to Dallas and then from Dallas over.
Oof. $20 hours, 20 and a half. Yeesh.
So technically, Michigan's closer. Michigan's closer to Denver than fucking this part of Texas is.
Well, yeah, you live in the butthole of Texas. We've already talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
You moved there to get away from everything. You're like that guy who moved to northern Idaho with his family.
That guy.
And he lived on a ridge
Randy
somewhere.
Weaver?
Yep. That guy. I do own some shotguns. If anybody would like some modifications.
You know, it's just I just need 1/8 of an inch. Just you know, I just need my barrel recrowned, quote unquote.
The only thing that would make me nervous about Michigan, other than a shitty economy, is you're one tragedy away from an assault weapons ban. Then you'll be having to go to the Capitol every time they fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously. that was pain. That was pain. But it was enlightening though. This time was.
2 weeks to slow the spread, huh?
So, Matt, if
Mhm.
stuff goes sideways with our vote here, I have friends in Texas, I have friends in Florida, and I have some family up in Michigan. What would be your pick?
Michigan, obviously. That's where he's moving.
Not Florida?
Wait. So, yeah. So Michigan, Florida, or Texas, as far as like if you needed to fucking go someplace.
Yeah.
Economy's way, or job market's going to be better and probably.
Florida, probably.
Florida would probably be the
I was gonna
best.
say what area of Florida?
Boca Raton, Cocoa Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cocoa Beach.
Texas would be second. Michigan would be third.
Okay. Because I have friends in Buda that want me to move out there. Ever
Although
since
Texas is stronger red than Florida and more consistently red than Florida. Florida's going through a red boom here for the last few years that looks like it's going to continue. But you got to remember, Florida is a purple state.
Yeah,
Like,
no, you're right.
It's not a red state.
Yeah,
you got
'cause,
those rhinos fucking with your laws.
Yeah, and then you have like, for example, binary triggers are illegal there. You know, like or rapid fire devices. Sorry, whatever they want to call them. So, and that's supposed to be a very Republican state, but it's like a rhino kind of state. So.
All my triggers are non-binary.
Yeah, because mind you, one of the areas I wanted to move was Vegas, and they don't give a fuck about any of that shit. But you know.
Oh, they did get rid of ghost guns though. Nevada did ban. They hopped on the ghost gun ban thing.
Yeah, it's weird though because I have quote unquote one, and I think I gotta like hurry up and sterilize it or some shit. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that thing. It's just sitting there.
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is kind of making its way through the circuit courts. If you keep your nose clean, I think I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice, but I don't know. For me, yeah, the whole point was for me not to have to go through the stupid hoops and nicks and everything else like that. So
They're just
I
mad.
mean, the guys,
Well,
the
because like
guys
it's
in
always been legal for like anybody to just build a gun in their garage, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
the thing is about a garage gun is that usually they're like a single shot something or other. You know, it's not like a dangerous fucking military weapon that anyone's producing in their fucking garage. Unless you're talking about an 80% lower that you can mill out with a fucking drill press or a fucking Dremel, you know. Then it's like, oh, well, anyone can make a weapon, and then they freak out about it. But like, it's been the rule for the longest time that if you want to build a gun in your garage, you can build a gun in your garage. That's the way it works.
No, I mean, and the thing is though, like what even like, well, I wanted to bring up, but other people who are on my panel brought up tonight to the lawmakers was like, the laws that you're presenting here are utterly moot because with the advent of 3D printing and home CNC machines, that's a thing, you know, like the Ghost Gunner CNC machine. There's no control. They can't control. The only people that they're controlling are the people who don't know how to do it, who are just suburbanites, who don't, you know, who aren't that interested in building. They just want to buy and go, you know, to get a gun. But I mean, criminal elements have better weapons than we do. Hell, they get like ex-military stuff from cartels. Like, yeah. And then it's just like, and then everyone was talking about Glock switches tonight, and I'm like, what? There's like one time it was used in a crime in Denver metro area, like one significant, like, and it was with illegals shooting each other. So I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, from my case, they told me best. Like, I just got to serialize it. That's it.
Yeah, like when they passed that here in Colorado, like with when they banned ghost guns, and it's only by you can't buy lowers in certain cities or counties or something like that. I could still buy lowers, 80% lowers, but but the thing is, though, they have to get them serialized before you finish them. But what about the ones you had done before? Like when they passed that law, there was no proviso, grandfather period. You have 1 year to get it serialized or anything really like that. At least not well known enough to even someone like me who's really involved in the 2A community. So I'm just like, okay, you know, I guess this will be a Supreme Court case if you come down on me about this, you know, type of thing. So yeah. Is that going to be Amera Panama? Is that going to be ours?
I support us taking back the Panama Canal.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter giving it away was the dumbest. Okay, yeah, he just died, but the guy was like next to Biden, the worst idiotic president.
I mean, it's only been out of our control since 1999.
Well,
So,
got
like,
memories.
Like it. First of all, and we talked about this on the show last night. Fucking Panama wouldn't exist without us. We created that country. Okay, it was run. It was run by Colombia, and we were the ones in like 1906 or whatever the fuck it was, or I can't remember exactly what it was, that went in and convinced the Panamanians to fucking revolt and demand independence and become their own country. And then we immediately got a treaty with them and immediately started building the Panama Canal. We knew what we were doing. It exists because we wanted to build the Panama Canal. So it wouldn't even be a fucking country if it wasn't for us. So yeah, go take it back whenever the fuck we want. How about that?
Yeah, it was late 1800s because it was 1904 was when they started construction on the canal itself.
I can't remember what it was, but it was Theodore Roosevelt, and we fucking got them to. We went down there and we sent fucking all kinds of politicians and people down there and encouraged them to fight for their independence. And then the minute they got their independence, we were like, all right, let's do a deal. Like, that's why we did it. That's
crazy
why.
that this is as far as the roads go. And between here and here, there's no roads at all. There's like little fucking things, I guess. Like, oh, here's some dude's like landing strip where he grows cocaine, right? But
You know
if
what
you want to get
vehicle
from
could-
here to here, China's working on it supposedly, but that's like way further. I mean, it's not like building a fucking canal, but man, that's quite a distance you got to fucking cover.
So if we take it over, that's gonna be the new vacation
350 miles of fucking roadlessness. Oh wait, maybe not that far. Okay, yeah, not nearly that far. Yeah, 70 miles still though.
Isn't that like really mountainous jungle though?
Oh, it's rainforest. It's
Yeah.
thick, dense rainforest.
And also, I was just looking at the topography. It looks similar to ours, like in the as far as
Yeah,
like
I mean, there's some
elevation
hills.
extremes.
But it's not like fucking, not like us. They ain't like us. We got mountains. I don't know. Maybe there's like mini mountains. I'm not sure. I don't live there, man. Ain't my deal. Well, shit, man. Do you need any? You need anything before you go? You need any help moving? Because I'm not helping you. I'm sorry. It's like good luck.
Oh,
if
come
you
on.
do.
He'll give you pizza and beer, and then you'll have a backache for 3 weeks. It'll be totally worth that pizza and beer.
Yeah. No, I just need money. Lots of money.
So when are you moving?
About 2 weeks, give or take.
Okay.
Well, thankfully, you've got lots of toys and guns you can sell if you need it. And the backup plan is like subscribers. Never enough ammo's in trouble. Cash App is this.
He has an OnlyFans. He'll show you the whole.
It's just a bunch of really close up shots of my butthole. That's what it is.
You just got 88 new members. That's how many people are watching right now. All right. Well, I think that's about all I had to talk about today. If you guys got anything else you want to talk about now?
I had a question for you before I go. Okay. What's say this ban comes about in September 1st, like they want. What's the one gun you're gonna get before it goes through? Say like a hypothetical.
Like, let's say I just had money for a gun, and
you can only get one. You can only get one now. That's it. Before the ban, what are you gonna get?
I mean, the thing that I would really want that I don't have would be a Terminator killer.
Ooh.
Which means a 50 BMG.
Nice. Anti-material.
And I believe Palmetto's coming out with a new one. Semi-automatic.
Ooh.
For about $2,000. And that would be the gun.
Nice. Good choice. I dig it. I already kind of put money down. I already ordered it. My one of my bucket guns, which was a Steyr AUG NATO. I just always wanted one.
Yeah, he got your dream gun, Matt. He got the Steyr, the AUG.
The AUG. I had to get the NATO one so it could have magazine compatibility reasons.
Well, that's the Gen 3, right?
What's that?
That's the Gen 3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the newest one. That's why they had to order it for me at my LGS. Yeah, it's because they didn't have it on the wall. But if I had to get one that wasn't currently coming to me, man, you know what? I've always wanted a SIG MPX.
Those MPXs are pretty fucking nice, dude.
Or Chris Vector, one of the two. I can't decide, but I think an MPX would be more badass.
MPX is smoother.
Yeah.
When you shoot it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, I'm getting kind of tired and I got some shit to do, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But I do appreciate y'all being here tonight. And thank you for your support and watching my channel. And good luck to Never Enough Ammo in his adventures of moving across the country from the southern extreme to the northern extreme.
He's practically a Canadian.
Pretty soon.
I mean, he's going back to where it all began.
Oh, I thought you were going to say where his people are from.
Yeah,
where my people are from. They went to Michigan after they moved here in 1904.
Yeah,
I mean,
your people hated it so much they moved to South Texas. Damn, are you bringing your mom with too?
I don't know yet. She hasn't decided whether or not she wants to go.
What is she going to stay in Texas by herself?
I have no idea. She's a grown ass human being. She can do her what she wants to fucking do.
Oh, she's coming with. You know she is. All right. Well, as they say, deuces y'all shall not pee in fridge. And we'll see y'all next time. Later.
Penis.